Hello, welcome to Children and Family Law Nuggets. I am Chris Aniche, Specialist Accredited Children and Family Law Solicitor. In this segment, we'll be discussing social workers and your children. Under this topic, we will discuss the following. Who is a social worker? The role of a social worker. Statutory duties of social services. Why social services may become involved in your family. What is Section 47 inquiry or investigation? Child Protection Conference. Without much ado, we will commence. Social worker and your children. Who is a social worker? Child and family social worker protect vulnerable children and support family in need of assistance. Social workers help people solve and cope with problems in their everyday life by providing advice, support, and resources to individuals and family to help them solve their problems. Social workers work with specific groups of clients, including children, the elderly, and families in crisis, and help them to solve the problems they are facing. Role of a social worker in safeguarding. Social workers have a central role within the local authorities with a duty to promote, support, and safeguard the well-being of all children in need in their area insofar as is consistent with that duty to promote the upbringing of children by their families by providing a range and a level of services. The key here is social workers will promote the upbringing of children within their family, provided is in the children's best interest for the children to remain at home while the services are being provided to the parents to enable them to care for their children. Children and young people are often subject to care order, and the role of the children's social care worker is to fulfill the council's obligation as a corporate parent. The role is to work alongside other professionals to ensure that a child or a young person receives appropriate care, education, and health services. Statutory duties of social services. Social services have a statutory obligation to safeguard and promote the welfare of vulnerable children and adults, and they can provide a wide range of services to children and their family, usually within their home environment, coordinated by a social worker. Families often feel anxious at the prospect of social services involvement because of experiences they may have had from others, or just because they are frightened that social workers will remove their children from their care. Obviously, these fears are natural, but a child will only be removed if there is a very clear evidence that they are at risk of significant harm, and above all, there is a court order in place to remove the child from the care of their parents. If they consider that your child is in immediate danger, the police can take a police protection, but they have to return your child to your care within 48 hours unless a court makes an emergency protection order, which is usually called EPO. Everyone working in child protection tries to keep your children within their family as long as it is a safe place for them to be. There are different departments in social services to support the varying needs. There is an adult social services department which provides services to elderly and working age adults who have learning difficulties, physical or mental health problems, or possibly addictions. If a child is looking after a parent with a disability, they might be referred to as a young carer, and there may be a special provision in place to help if this is the situation. Often, social care services for adults who have mental illness or an addiction are provided by a mental health trust. It is common for these different departments to work together if a family or individual needs this. The aim is to coordinate their services in the best interest of the family. If they are concerned that a child may be suffering or is at risk of harm, the work with the family will be led by a social worker from the Children's Services Department, sometimes referred to as the Children's Social Care. Why social services may become involved. A parent or other adult family member or an adult child may request family support services from social services at times of stress or for help regarding a child or family problem. Also, a professional who works or who knows the family, such as a teacher, a family center worker, or GP, can make this same request on the family behalf. Depending on your local authority, either a neighborhood-based social worker or a multi-agency assessment team member, sometimes referred to as MASH team, will offer further assessment or immediate assistance, or an assessment team signposted to appropriate community-based support and services. Children and adult social care services can help parents and relatives who are disabled or who are caring for disabled children, including providing short break services inside or outside of the home. There might be child protection issue for the child or the children, including cases where violence between adults could result in harm to the children. For example, domestic violence. The parents may request that a child be temporarily placed in a foster care or residential care as an emergency or planned short-term measure to help with their child's challenging behavior, or to provide a planned break or a series of short breaks at a time of a particular stress. Where children are taken into care following emergency intervention by the police or the court order, or where a child is placed for adoption, occasionally at the request of the parents, but more often following a court order. What is Section 47 inquiry or 47 investigation? If there are concerns about the safety or welfare of a child or children, they may decide that a child protection investigation is needed, and they will conduct what is called a Section 47 inquiry. This means they will carry out a full investigation because there is a reasonable cause to believe that a child or children living in that home has been abused or neglected, or is likely to be abused or neglected in future, unless steps are taken to safeguard the child's welfare. If you've heard that they are going to carry out a Section 47 inquiry, then again, please do not panic. This is to determine the child's needs are being met. They will also use this inquiry to decide whether further action may be needed to safeguard and promote this child's welfare. Child Protection Conference. The Child Protection Conference is a meeting to help everyone involved in this investigation to assess all the information and plan how to safeguard the child and promote his or her welfare. In most cases, parents and carers are encouraged to attend and are entitled to take someone for support or have a legal representative to accompany them to this meeting. Social workers and other professionals who know the child well will give a report at the conference, and they should show you their report beforehand and check that it is accurate. If you disagree, the meeting chairperson should make sure you have a chance to put your point of view across. At this meeting, it will be decided whether the child had suffered or is likely to suffer significant harm, and whether there should be a formal child protection plan, which is usually called a CP plan, put in place. If it's the case that a formal child protection plan is necessary, there will be a record of the meeting and a detailed statement of the protective services to be provided, which will be given to the parents and the professionals. If it's decided that a formal protection is not necessary, but there are concerns about a child's well-being, there may be agreement between the parents, older children, and the professionals that a family support, sometimes called a child in need plan, should be in place to provide the support and services needed. It is natural to worry that your child may be taken into care when there is a child protection conference, but the aim of this meeting is to see how everyone can work together to address the concerns raised. Only a court can order that a child should no longer live with his or her parents, and this would only be in very limited circumstances. Parents at the Child Protection Conference will be consulted at all stages of the process and kept informed about the decision to hold a Child Protection Conference. Also, parents will usually be encouraged to attend a Child Protection Conference. If there has been domestic abuse within the family home, parents may be invited to attend separately. You can bring a friend. If you are a parent with a disability, the local authority has an obligation to make sure you can fully participate. The professionals at the meeting have also got to consider race, religion, and language barriers and take steps to ensure the parent is able to be involved, whether it is be assessed or an interpreter or other support. Situation where you as a parent cannot attend the CPC. If there is a suspicion that you have seriously injured or assaulted your child and the criminal proceedings are being considered, or you have a history of violence or could be violent to somebody at the meeting or after. Parents have severe mental health issue. If you arrive under the influence of alcohol or drugs, or a record of the plan will be kept by the agency who were invited to the meeting and the parents and older children. You may have heard the term Child Protection Register, but it no longer exists. It has been replaced by the the recording of the plan in order to emphasize that the process is about providing services to protect the child. The public cannot have access to information about whether there is a formal protection plan for a particular child, and only the professionals involved with the child or who may need to know if a child they are working with is subject of protection or child protection plan or have access to this information. It is worth asking the key worker to tell you who does know about it. It is difficult to say exactly how long a formal protection plan will be needed. This is decided at the Child Protection Review meeting, held approximately every 6 months, but it could be earlier, which parents and older children usually tend to give their views about whether the plan is helping or needs to be changed. This is something that the key workers can talk to you about. If you are concerned that a child may be abused or seriously neglected, then you can contact your local Children's Services Department or the NSPCC, or the police or health professional or teacher can make a referral to social services on your behalf. I hope we've been able to shed more light into this area of law. Our next discussion on this matter will be what is harm and what constitutes significant harm under the law. Like I indicated previously, this channel is basically my contribution towards enlightening parents and other professionals who work in this area of complex children law matter, most especially to assist you as a parent to know your right and also to be able to safeguard your children. See you at our next video, which will be what is harm and what constitutes significant harm and how does the court determines it. Once again, my name is Chris Aniche. I'm an accredited specialist solicitor. And I leave you with this powerful quotation by Matthew Jacobson. And he said, and I quote, "Behind every young child who believes in himself is a parent who believed first." Thank you.